do that. It's not nice. Hey YouTube. So today I need to get some more wooden pen blanks ready. So we're gonna be cutting wood into a bunch of shapes just like this, except they won't have all the fun colors. This is just the first one I grabbed because I usually use the acrylic ones as my guide for how big to make them. I'll grab that in a minute. Totally meant to throw it, by the way. But yeah, so with that said, I also got cutting board wood to cut up that's been sitting here for a while and it just needs to get smaller and out of the way. So yeah, I'm gonna finish gathering up everything to make sure I've got all the wood I was gonna chop up for this round, and we are gonna get to it with the miter saw first. So yeah, hope you all are in the mood for a good cutting video because it's gonna be a lot of it. Doop. All right, and we're back. First off, make sure my saw's on. All right. So this is what I do with cutting board scraps. First thing I do, like with every board, is square out the end. Still grabbing some of it. Alright, before I keep going, I'm throwing in my other earbud, because that's a lot louder than I thought. So then when I'm lining these up, my mirror's making sure I actually hit record because sometimes I forget. Line it up with your finger on the end, over your blade. Pro trick, pro tip, get it out towards the end a little bit. You want it close, it doesn't have to be perfect, although that one is. And then cut this. And then all I'm going to do is repeat this for every board I've got stacked up over there. And this little piece I'll actually hang on to because I might do some cross grain, and for that I'll just leave this one fully intact. If this is going to be my gauge block for every single one of these today, first one I cut is always the first one, is always the one I use to gauge it out. So I can set this back down, set this stuff over out of the way. I'm also going to be cutting some honey dipper blanks later. It's the same process, but they get a little bit bigger because the way I have to put those in the lathe, I need them just about an inch longer. But I'm going to be doing those off camera because it's literally the same process. So with that, I'm going to pop this into a time lapse, and we are going to do my best to get through all that. So definitely think we're going to be time lapsing that because I don't think y'all want to watch me do this for about an hour and a half. So I'll see you at the table. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, so did you guys know that you can support me for not spending a cent by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing my videos? It doesn't cost you a cent. It helps the algorithm see me a whole lot more, and it's totally free for you. It just takes 3 clicks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks, bye. that got kind of intense. I also had to dump the miter saw dust bag in the middle and grab the shop vac. Sorry, I'm moving a little bit because there's a tube that the blade shoots the sawdust through. Blade throws the sawdust through a tube. Bag goes on the end of it. This is not the tube from it, it's a shop vac tube. But works the exact same way. And it actually clogged the tube up. I had so much sawdust that I didn't think I'd fill it up, but I did. So, thinking about starting to try to save some of that stuff since I'm trying to keep it out of the air. So, don't be surprised if by the end of the summer, or even the middle of the summer, depending on how much more saw cutting I gotta do, because when I'm done with all this, it should last a good long while. Because, yeah, I mean, this is probably 6 to 7 pens worth of wood right here. That's why I try to use offcuts for this stuff, just because if I can minimize how much I have to throw away, or in my case, burn, it's that much less loss I have to throw away. And just know, if you ever do buy a wood pen, as of the time of recording here in 2024, to be official, April 19th, 2024, almost every piece I cut, with the exception of certain woods, like this, I have to count and see how many I get. Let's see if I get some of that grain in there. That's called leopard wood. I don't think I've ever shown this stuff on the channel yet. This is this board, which is right here. This amount of wood, and I have no offcuts. The last one was about a 3/16 longer than the rest. I'm just leaving it. This one single board was like $48. This stuff's hard to find, very expensive when you can get it, but it looks amazing if you turn it right, and especially if you finish it right. So I'll be honest, I caught that one on a sale. It was like 36, I think, because they were doing a clearance on it. But still, I'm figuring it up at 40. If it comes out to $1 a blank afterwards, I'm not charging for my time for that one type of wood. But I mean, most of this, you know, by the time I do everything, I don't feel right asking for 2 or 3 a piece, because it don't take long to rip these apart. It's just a lot. But yeah, so if you guys were ever wondering how I actually get the price for the pens, it's the pen kit plus the wood. For wood, it takes about 35 minutes once it hits the lathe. Or no, I've changed a few things in how I do stuff over the winter, and I've actually got to sit down and time it all out again to be able to get that number. But last year it was half an hour. Like I said, it was about 30 to 35 minutes. So I charge, I have a certain shop rate that I charge, and it's actually going up this year by $5 an hour. Makes the math a little easier too, but I'm also getting faster, so I'm comfortable moving the price up a hair. Not to say like if I need a break and walk away, I don't charge for that. It's only while I'm actually physically working. So yeah. But with that said, we are going to jump on the table saw. I'm going to show you with the first two, like I did with the miter saw. Then we're going to time lapse that. And then we'll be back to chit chat when we're done. And then I'm out. So, time for the table saw. But before I do that, I got to go find a couple bins real quick, because I do try to keep this stuff as organized as possible. And be on the lookout. I've recently caught a really nice rack system on sale that I'm actually looking at the box just off camera right over there. And no, I'm not going to show it to you. not until it's done, and not until I have the rest of the shop cleaned up, which I'm hoping to get that done hopefully next week if it's not overcast like today. It's overcast, but it looks like it wants to rain, and I'm not comfortable to put my saws and everything outside because the way my life goes, it'll downpour on them, and I'm just not dealing with it. So, but yeah, I got about a quarter of my shop left. I got to get everything out, get a bunch of stuff thrown away. I actually just finished burning sawdust and junk last night, and yeah, once we get all that done, and everything's nice and organized, I think I'm actually going to try to, well, not try, I think I'm just going to do a shop tour so y'all can see kind of how I have my workflow set up for what I'm going to try this year. Yeah, which that's a whole nother topic I could talk about. Workflow, shop setups, and all that for hours. There's a lot to it, but it's simple yet complex. I think that's the best way to put that. But yeah, so with that, I've been awake too long. But yeah, so on to the table saw, because otherwise I'll sit here and talk for 3 hours. Toodles. And we're back to the table saw. So I'm just plugging her in real quick, and while I'm doing that, those bins on it are actually how I'm going to be storing everything once everything's cut up. So, and yes, the rack I got just holds a bunch of these, and it came with all the bins. But yeah, so when I'm cutting pen blanks, and if you ever do this yourself, the most critical part about these is keeping them as square as possible. So what I'll be doing is, before I even turn the saw on, this is 2 different thicknesses. That's the same. That's the same. That's about a 30-second off, but it's close enough. But this one has to be set differently, even though it's the exact same type of wood. So the way I set everything up, first thing I do, check my blade height. This is just barely cutting through the top. I like to try to get about half of these troughs. I like to try to get about half of that trough, maybe a little more, at the top of there. About like that. Then you just release your fence, take it over, and just gently snug it up. I think I was talking about this yesterday. That's right, that was the video I wasn't able to get uploaded. So when you set your fence, you want to be able to run your part widthwise through there and feel a little resistance between the blade, where you see how it's spinning a little bit. But you want to be able to run it through fairly quickly and not have it move too much. When you take it through slow, it'll actually, sometimes as your hand twists, it'll move the blade back and forth. And yeah, that's set. So now we're gonna grab my push stick, which I keep on my fence, and we're gonna cut a couple of these. I also have a new toy on this, which I tried it a little bit so far. Of course, I just dropped it. But it is a dust collection bag. It goes over the dust port. And I got too much stuff in the way down here. I had an old shop bag quit working, so I'm using the old body as a scrap wood holder. But yeah, so I just got this little bag. It just goes over the dust port. Zipper on the bottom, so that way when it's full, it's take. And like I said, I am thinking about making this making fire starters for the, once I have enough to start doing it. I got a few ideas on how to do it, so we're gonna see. I'm gonna try them out this summer before I start selling, because I want to make sure they're gonna work and hold up. So with that said, I'm gonna shut up. We're gonna put this respirator on, and I'm gonna cut, just for time's sake, I'm just gonna stick to one of these. And this has a pretty gnarly hole in it, so what I'm gonna do is cut this one. Because you can see that crack there and up through there. I'm gonna cut this one, flip it around, and cut this, because I cannot use this. I don't feel safe putting that on the lathe, because that's too likely to split open. And just know, every piece I put on here, that's the kind of stuff I'm actually looking for. So if you see me take a piece and throw it off, it's because I know it's going to be unsafe. And that's actually what my shop vac body's for down there. But I just had it like 2 weeks ago, so I don't always remember I have it at this point. What I might actually do is put it over there so I can see it. But that's it. Here we go. That crack's still there. I'm not comfortable with that piece, unfortunately. And I went ahead and did both, because that one's cracked through. Now it looks like it's cracked, but it's actually just a dark spot in this wood. This one's got a little one, but as shallow as that is, that line could go, but I'm going to risk that one. And this is what I mean, you know, you just kind of got to look at everything. And before I ever drill any of these, I always give them a once over as well. It's just, it takes 2 seconds to look at it before you cut it. And it can save you a lot of heartache down the road. So, if you ask me, it's worth double checking everything. So, we're going to pop this on the time lapse for the rest. And yeah. This is done. That's 2 videos in 2 days. I don't think I'm doing too bad. I just want to go in my back pocket. Alright, time lapse it is. folks. That's all I got the patience for tonight. And I found when running a table saw, when you start feeling a little frantic, it's time to stop. So I still got, that was about half of the wood I cut up for it. I'm probably going to finish it up tomorrow or Tuesday, I'm not sure. I'm not going to worry about doing the time lapse though, because it's going to be more of the same, just with different colors of wood. And all that's left is leopard wood, walnut, and cherry. I don't do a lot of maple for pens, just because they don't sell very well. I don't know, light wood, I don't even like the way light wood looks on pens that I make. You know, even if I'm just making one for me, I'd much rather have a dark wood. And I don't know what it is, it's prettier. And that's about as light as I go. Of course, this is also a hybrid blank. And these are, I mean, the hybrids right now cost me about 18 to 20 bucks just to get my hands on the blank. And that pen kit, we're not going to discuss that, but it's like $18, $19, but it's also the, you know, where's my camera at? There it is. Focus in for me. Yeah, don't want to focus, but gold with a silver just around the very nib and outside of the fountain pen. I only bought a bunch of these recently because I caught them on sale. But when I say a bunch, I got like 3. And that's one of them. I've been looking for one in a different color, and I just wanted to make sure that it's going to hold up well. If you didn't know, I do test out all my pens myself. I carry them for a while. Plus, I mean, yeah, here's another one. I just like the color of this one. Plus, if you saw the picture I posted recently on Facebook, this one glows in the dark. So I actually liked it so much I had to keep one for myself. So I grabbed a couple more of these when, again, there was a big sale at one of my supply stores. I didn't realize the pen stuff was on sale when I picked it up. I was just whatever. I want a few of them, so grabbing stuff and looking at the receipt when I got home, and I was like, oh, cool. Because I mean, some of these blanks will cost me, I've got one that cost me 12 bucks. Now that I know how to make them, I'm just going to do it myself, but I figured what the heck, I'll get one. But yeah, so sorry, I'm rambling. That is cutting, that's how I cut my pen blanks. If you're curious about how I actually make pens themselves, I've got several different pens I've done. If you guys are interested in seeing how I do different styles, you know, the actual turning's all the same, but the drill bit sizes and stuff change. There's some that have a single tube. Most of the ones I do have 2, like this one. It's got the gap in the middle, so there's actually 2 separate pieces that I do for this one. Same with the fountain pens, because I do the cap and the body. Some of them I have, they only get 1. The kit I used to love, because they were like that long, 2 of them. That's what I did with all of my leftover blanks. I was actually planning on buying a bunch of them, but then they discontinued it, and I can't find something similar. Because what I was going to do is take those to shows and basically pick out your color hardware, pick out 2 blanks you like, slap them together for you right there, and I was just going to have a flat rate for any of them, and it gets rid of, it saves me having to burn wood or throw away acrylic, because that stuff is expensive, and if I have to cast it, it's not much cheaper. But yeah, so all that said, I think I am gonna go call it a night. Well, I say call it a night, I'm gonna go play on the lathe, who am I kidding? But yeah, so I'm gonna call it a night for the video. And with that, I hope to see y'all again sometime soon. Now that I am gonna be trying to get these up weekly. And yeah, this one's, I'm cheating a little bit. There's something big I want to make for my house that I've been wanting for years, And I just recently picked up everything I need to make it. Now I just need to make it. So I'm gonna try to get a couple more of these done throughout the week, and hopefully this weekend be able to knock that project out. Whoa. Sorry, I got a lawn roller between my tripod right here and my legs on it because I'm totally doing a Captain Morgan. But I know I'm weird. But yeah, because I'm hoping next week to be able to get the last third of my shop cleared out and move a couple other things up, because I actually want to change where my lathe is at. And if I can afford it, I really want to get anti-fatigue matting through my whole shop out here, except by my grinder, because it's a fire hazard. Actually, I don't know if neoprene would be or not, and it doesn't throw sparks like my old frangible wheels do. But just as an abundance of caution, I'd be a lot more comfortable keeping it clear. Eventually I want to get a couple more fire extinguishers and stuff for in here, and just stuff like that. Just, make sure. But it is what it is for now. So with that, I will say cat in the hat, dappy dap. Later, folks.